Philly cheesesteak recipe. A classic Philly cheesesteak consists of thinly shaved steak, usually ribeye or top round, and is traditionally cooked on a griddle. When you bite into it you get the savory pieces of thin steak and melty, gooey cheese. It's generally topped with provolone cheese or cheese whiz. While the classic Philly cheesesteak is served in a non-roasted way, that's a pretty hard find if you want in a full hour, what a bummer. But you can substitute it for a hoagie roll for an equally delicious sandwich. So, let's get into it and talk through all the delicious variations, get behind the history of the sandwich along with the directions to make one really wonderful cheesesteak. How to make a Philly cheesesteak. If you can't get to Philadelphia easily to pick up a cheesesteak sandwich, then your next best shot is to make it at home. The layout of the sandwich is simple: steak, onions, bell peppers, cheese, and bread. But the details are important. The original cheesesteak can be ordered with only steak or with steak and onions. Wait is the ordering lingo there. Personally, I like onions and bell peppers, so I do both. The onions and peppers need to cook much longer than the steak, so cook them first, separately, and then combine everything together with the cheese to finish the dish. What kind of steak to use for cheesesteak? You want to use a nice cut of steak that has some marbled fat on it and is really tender. As the thin steak cooks, the fat melts a bit and makes each piece of steak very tender. Personally, I like to use ribeye for mine. It is better marbling, but it's more expensive. Top round is also a classic cheesesteak option. Do not use tougher meat cuts like flank steak or brisket. What kind of cheese to goes on Philly cheesesteaks? There are two options here: provolone or cheese whiz, a shelf-stable cheese product sold in jars. If I'm being honest, American cheese is also pretty delicious, but let's keep it somewhat classic with the cheese. Personally, I like to use both. I melt some provolone over the steak as it cooks and then drizzle on some cheese whiz right before serving. I like the texture of the cheese whiz and the flavor that the provolone gives the sandwich. Provolone has a sharper bite to it while the cheese whiz is just a completely creamy, almost nacho cheese, situation. Use both. Skip the cheese whiz if you can't find it, or use your own favorite cheese. Once you have the basics of the sandwich down, you can keep it classic, or you can make this your own.